He wasn't Elam Hazeh, so he walks through Gehenna. And if it's a big tzaddik, so they turn off Gehenna when he walks through. He shouldn't suffer. So the Bach, because he saved so many people from the Aveir of Chodesh by him with the koyach of his psak, he made Chodesh mutter. So before he passed away, 40 days before he passed away, they already turned off Gehenna. So this way, when he should walk through 40 days later, it should be so much not cool. So much not hot, so much colder. So that was the big heter of the Bach. The Rebbe spoke about it by Fabrenga once, and the Rebbe from the Rebbe was mashma that the Chabad were not makbid. The Rebbe said that the Rebbe made it sound like people are not makbid on it, and it's not a chumrah that you want to find, but it wasn't like a big deal. Mitzad Sheni, there were G'dei Yisrael that were definitely makbid, and lately, in the past maybe 15, 20, 30 years, it started becoming popular in America also. For whatever reason, it's became, I guess, easier. So today you see many of the Hamish Chayim, they say on them Yoshon, they say that it's special, it's no problem of Chodesh. So I guess if it's easy to be makbid, and Adarab, Abachar one time, one year, he wanted to be makbid, he told me he wants to go now to Walmart, and to know Chodesh and Yoshon, you have to know all the pratim of the harvest and what it is. He wanted to go and buy a van full of flowers, he should be able to buy for the whole year. He asked me if it makes sense. Do what you want, but based on Rebbe's Sikh was mashma that it's not such a big deal. It's a nice chumrah, but it's not one of the first numbers to take up on. 1 second, yeah? Yeah?
That we're like makbid,
Dafka not to eat chodesh?
Yeah.
No,
No, I'm saying the other way.
To eat yoshin?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, we're makbid to not take upon ourselves the chumrah.
Yeah.
So that's what I also thought once. That's what I remembered. But then people told me differently, so I didn't want to say that. But now that you're saying that, I heard that too. That's what I remember. But it's mashma that is not so. That it's if you want to be machmir, then you machmir.
Did you say anything about that?
The way I remember the sikha being quoted to me the first time was that Rebbe was saying that the Rebbe was kivyachol not making fun, but the Rebbe was like saying it doesn't make sense the chumrah. And then afterwards, then I looked it up, and then people told me again. Then I saw there was mashma. The Rebbe was more saying that. No, it's a chumrah, but it's not. Most people are not makbid. That was like more saying it casually. Like most people are not makbid on it. That's just like not a big deal. That's what I didn't look it up now again, so I can't tell you now. I'm famous. You want to come afterwards? Yeah.
This is talking about from Chutz to eating in Chutz or is talking about from Eretz Yisrael and eating in?
No, this is talking about the grains of Chutz.
Oh, but if you have like grains.
Then left. The hash have to go after you. I don't know. Please. Should there be more emphasis on Sefer HaSichos than Likutei Sichos? Every person has his geschmack in Torah which he likes more. I personally have more of a geschmack in Likutei Sichos than Sefer HaSichos. Some people have a more geschmack in Sefer HaSichos than Likutei Sichos. That's a different style. It's all Kodesh Kadoshim. It's all the Rebbe's Torah, and every person has what they like. I don't see a sevara why to be makbid in one more than the other. I see a tam. It's a definitely different style. I would understand people that enjoy more Sefer HaSichos, and I understand myself why I enjoy more Likutei Sichos. But I don't think there is a dogish. You should learn everything, versteht sich, but I don't see why one more than the other.
Why do you enjoy
What?
Why do you enjoy it?
It's a different style. It's more inyanim. It's not just the dates and the parsha. It's more taking each and you're explaining inyam b'fnei atzma. It's more of it's more of a shir than a fabrenga, if you will. Yeah. We had this already. That's special. Yeah, that l'chayr that I would try if I would do Sefer HaSichos. When I do Sefer HaSichos, I try to do that first. Yeah, pashtus. That we spoke about last time. Why do we have to say the truth if the truth hurts, and we can't hurt another yid? So lav dafka, you have to say the truth. There's a story. There was the Frierdiker Rebbe asked Reb Chatzar Feigen once to tell a certain yid to either be a teacher or something, to tell a certain yid to do something. I think to be a mashpia even. And Reb Chatzar Feigen didn't want to tell the Frierdiker Rebbe that yid was a moser. That yid ended up had connections to the KGB, and he was not a person that you can trust. And even though the Frierdiker Rebbe has Ruach HaKodesh, but tzaddikim don't always use their Ruach HaKodesh, and therefore the way he spoke is in a way that he asked Reb Chatzar Feigen to ask this chassid to be a mashpia, or the person had been a chassid, if you want to call him still a chassid, whatever it may be. And Reb Chatzar Feigen did not tell the Frierdiker Rebbe. He kept pushing it. Somehow he got it out. He didn't end up telling him. He didn't pass on the message. However, I forget the details of the story how it played out, but that was the teichen. So indeed, if the truth hurts, you don't have to say the truth. However, just like when it comes to a doctor, when certain times the only way to heal is by giving a shot. So sometimes, if the only way to help someone is by telling him the truth, and yes, you have to tell him the truth, even though it's going to hurt, because the goal is to make him feel better. Why is the Ari called the Ari Zal? So first of all, who knows what's Rosh Tevis of Ari?
Arya? I don't know.
Rosh Tevis. Very good. Ashkenazi Rabbi Yitzchak Zechreinu Levracha. There's two other ones. Not two ones. One other one. Ha'eliki. Ha'eliki Rabbi Yitzchak Zechreinu Levracha. The godly one. Why is he called the Ari Zal? I don't know why he was specifically, but the Rebbe sometimes called him the Ari Zal Hachai, the Ari Hachai. So why specifically by him I didn't see, but the Pashto Zechreinu Levracha is a title of many people that we have after they pass away, and it became, I guess, a word for itself. Ari Zal. If the main reason that you can't bet is because of a smachta, and the Mishnah Kuvdal Damadal sounds like if it's something in your control, it's not a smachta, then would getting a skill-based game that you are playing be considered an asmachta? So I don't think so. I think if it's like a skill-based game, even though there's an element of luck to it, but if it's basically based on skill, and there's an element of skill to it, then it would not be betting, and it would be considered to be, he says, it's not considered, it's not a smachta. Betting there's other problems with betting. Other problems with betting are smichas das, you hope you're going to get your money, and so on. There's also a problem of yesh kronis, people that are wasting their time. But if you're just playing yourself a game, I mean, playing a game just without any money involved and time betting, I don't think is a big deal either. I mean, besides the waste of time part of it, but not besides the betting part of it. But if it's a real game versus other people with money, so even with skills, so for example, it talks about, not mamish, but the concept of racing for money. So even over there's an issue. So when you're doing it for money, there's always a problem, even though you think you have the better skill. But you don't really know what's going to end up happening, and therefore there's an element of gezel, of when you win, or because when you lose you don't want to give away the money. So in short, if it's just for a game, I don't see an issue. But if it's actually money involved, the pashas, it's still a problem. Can I take psychedelics? I don't know, how do you say it? Psychedelics. The Bachar spelled it wrong. Mushrooms, it's a type of drugs. No, you're not allowed to take the kinds of drugs. I just did some research on about it, and that's why I know it's spelled wrong. And it says that there's no safe way of taking it, so it's awesome. Isn't getting married at 18 only if you did everything Pirkei Yavis, the Mishnah said? I assume the Bachar is addressing to Ben Chamish, to Mikra, Ben Esser, the Mishnah, and so on. So the answer is no, because we see that even though people changed the method of learning, but when it came to that inyan, the minhag by Klal Yisrael, especially by the Sfardim, was all the years was to still continue to be makbid on this inyan. So therefore, it's not connected to that prat. It's not connected to the first parts of the Mishnah. What should someone do if he's addicted to not appropriate things? So we spoke about this in the past, right? Yeah. When I was abruptly cut off. And now the ball's in my court. I can do whatever I want. So I'll repeat what I said then. The question is, what's considered an addiction? That's the big shayla. Just because a person has a Yetzer Hara doesn't mean he's addicted. His addiction means that a person cannot control himself. How do I know if I can control myself or not? I want to stop, I don't want to stop. So there are many different ways of checking it out. I mean, there's what's called the 90-day the test, where a person tries for 90 says, we'll try for 90 days now. If you can't keep yourself clean for whatever the addiction is for 90 days, that could mean there's a problem. It all depends on what to do. So there's many different methods in the Welt. And the way of Torah, what the Rambam says, and it's brought down in Shulchan Aruch, is a person should immerse himself in Torah. That's the solution. A person should immerse himself in Torah as much as possible, learn Torah, and then when your mind is busy the entire time with Torah, but derech klal, that's the best solution. If a person is immersing himself in Torah and he still has a problem and he's addicted, he can't control himself, that might be in that case a real clinical problem, and he has to go to a professional. What happens if a bacher says, I'm not willing to commit myself to immerse myself in learning 24/7? So then you have to find yourself other solutions. But if you're in Shulchan Aruch, in Siman Kufnun, he talks about similar the same time. Because it's a Teichen, and over there at the end of the Sefer, he gives a Tikkunim, and the Tikkunim also help to prevent. So if you want to look from Adam Mekaymis, you can check it up over there. But the main message always is, the main message to all this the Rebbe's Kav and the Chlal Kav is just to focus on doing good and getting yourself busy with Torah v'Avodah. Iker with Torah.
After immersing yourself in Torah, you should go to a physical profession or a
No.
spiritual profession.
Oh, if you immerse yourself in Torah 24/7 and you still can't control yourself, well, you should always. Every person should have a mentor, which is called a mashpia. And then after that, you still can't. You still didn't change. Then you should ask your mentor for advice. But someone has to actually go through with you and see what does it mean that you're addicted. What does that mean? It's a very broad topic. It can't be. It's welcome to like when I say ask your personal mashpia, but it's such a topic is so huge. Every person is different. How much and when and where and when does it happen? It's so many different details that can play into it that it can't be answered. There's books and books about it that address the different situations. And even that, every person, all the books are not enough. If a person is really addicted, he has to have a personal profession. A good